My Lord and my God, I firmly believe that you are here, that you see me, that you hear me. I adore you with profound reverence. I ask you for pardon for my sins and the grace to make this time of prayer fruitful. My Mother Immaculate, Saint Joseph, my Father and Lord, my guardian angel, intercede for me. Today, I ask for your prayers, since it is my birthday. Today also marks 25 years since I joined Opus Dei permanently, and I gave myself to you, Jesus, forever. And as the song goes, we put a ring on it. And that's why I'm using the Gospel of the memorial of St. Pius V, the saint we celebrate today. And there, in his last chapter, St. John tells us that several days after the resurrection, your Jesus appeared to Peter, to St. John himself, and 5 others by the Sea of Galilee. And when breakfast was over, the Gospel tells us how you, Jesus, said to Peter, "Simon, son of John, do you love me more than these?" And he replied, "Yes, Lord, you know that I love you." And you said to him, "Feed my lambs." And you asked him again, "Simon, son of John, do you love me?" "Yes, Lord, you know that I love you." And you said to him, "Tend my sheep." And for the 3rd time you asked him, "Simon, son of John, do you love me?" And St. John says that Peter was sad that you asked him a 3rd time. And he said to you, "Lord, you know everything. You know that I love you." You see, 3 times had Peter denied you, and 3 times he told you that he loved you. 3 years had already passed since you said to Peter, "Follow me." And that day, leaving his boats and nets, he had followed you during 3 intense and happy years, full of miracles and healings and crowds and journeys. But then came his crisis. Your passion, the cross, your death, Jesus. Because following you, Jesus always involves passing through Calvary. And for Peter, Calvary became too much to bear. He was terrified. First, he followed you from a distance, and then he denied you. They killed you, and Peter lost hope. Peter's crisis is like the crisis of every vocation. Leaving the boat and the nets was just the beginning. Later on, Peter would have to trust you, Jesus, and let go of his own way of doing things and surrender his judgment. You see, I mentioned that it was 25 years ago that I joined Opus Dei permanently. But I had been asking to join for almost 9 years already. And at age 14, I understood what you, Lord, were asking from me. And I gave you everything. Everything that a 14-year-old boy can give. The boats and nets that I had at the moment. A raft, really. And at 23, I gave you what a 23-year-old youth can give. A bigger boat, my medical career, my plans for the future. And then when I was 30, I was ordained a priest. And I thought that was it. I had already given everything. What else was left for me to give, right? Well, everything. Because 3 years later, you, Lord, asked me to leave my homeland and my family and friends behind and learn a new language and go to a new country to do what I have never done before. When you call, Jesus, we follow you where you want to take us. Like St. Peter, at the beginning I was enthused by the new mission. You can see some fruits, you're young, full of hopes. But then the crises come, which come to everybody and are absolutely necessary. Without those crises, we cannot grow. I gave you the boat I had back then, but today, well, we're going to need a bigger boat. So the gospel continues, when Peter told you 3 times that he loved you, you said to him, truly, truly I say to you, when you were young, you used to gird yourself and go where you wished. But when you grow old, you will stretch out your hands and someone else will gird you and take you where you don't wish to go. And having said this, you told him, follow me. There it is. You told him again, follow me. Like 3 years earlier, when he followed you wherever you took him, now you were asking him, follow me, to take him where you had not yet gone together. And that's what you do, Jesus, with all those who decide to follow you. A vocation is not just one day, it's every day. And every day we must follow you, Jesus, to a new place. What you asked yesterday, I gave yesterday, and what you are asking me today, I'll try to give today. And tomorrow I will see what you ask me, and with your grace, I'll try to give you that too. Every day brings different boats and nets. Until then, Peter followed you through Galilee and Judea, but that was then. That was all in the past. Now you say, follow me, but to the whole world. Follow me to Rome, to your cross, dying there, crucified upside down in the Vatican hell. You see, crises come to all who follow Jesus, to everyone. Without them, we cannot grow in spiritual life. Now, you may have heard the lesson of the lobster by psychiatrist Rabbi Abraham Tversky. This is how he explains it.
How do lobsters grow? I don't care how lobsters grow. But I was interested in it, and it points out that a lobster is a soft, bushy animal that lives inside of a rigid shell. That rigid shell does not expand. Well, how can the lobster grow? Well, as the lobster grows, that shell becomes very confining. Right? And the lobster feels itself under pressure and uncomfortable. It goes under a rock formation to protect itself from predatory fish, casts off the shell, and produces a new one. The stimulus for the lobster to be able to grow is that it feels uncomfortable. So I think that we have to realize that times of stress are also times that are signals for growth.
Well, it's so true. And that's why God allows these crises of faith, of hope, of vocation. Simon had to grow to become St. Peter. And in the spiritual life, growth is always an encounter with the cross. And in every crisis, you, Jesus, say to us once again, follow me. In these years, I have had my crises, like Peter and like everyone else. And there have been times when I have denied what you, Jesus, asked of me, like Peter. And like Peter, you sought me out, and I have said to you thousands of times, Lord, you know everything. You know that I love you. And all those crises have helped me grow. As Kelly Clarkson sings, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, right? Well, Judas's crisis didn't make him stronger. It actually killed him, right? But Simon's crisis turned him into the Prince of the Apostles and St. Peter. And on top of that, you, Jesus, never left St. Peter alone in his tribulation. For even when you were not there, like on Holy Saturday, your most holy mother was with Peter. Mary, my mother, Virgin most faithful. As you sustained Peter, sustain your children, especially all those who are experiencing moments of crisis in their faith, in their hope, in their vocation. So that when your Son says to them once more, follow me, they may be faithful like St. Peter, and grow, and decide to carry on following Jesus wherever He wants to take us. I give you thanks, my God, for the good resolutions, affections, and inspirations that you have communicated to me in this meditation. I ask you for help to put them into effect. My Mother Immaculate, Saint Joseph, my Father and Lord, my guardian angel, intercede for me.